All right, well, we'll just give the participants, students another minute to jump into the presentation, and then we'll get started. So if you want to just hang tight for a second. All right, so let's get started. Everyone, welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Wisconsin students, sponsored by the Wisconsin Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. My name is Nick Spaeth. I'm the Director of College Counseling at Brookfield Academy. I also happen to serve this year as the President of the Wisconsin Association for College Admission Counseling. So an extra special thank you both to the attendees and to the folks at CU Boulder for spending some time with us here tonight. And with that, I will turn things over to them.
Great, thank you so much. I am gonna go ahead and share my screen, something I'm sure y'all are real familiar with hearing, but welcome. Yeah, my name is Heather Moser. I am Assistant Director of Admission at CU Boulder's Office of Admission. Quick fun fact, I actually am a regional rep and live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I live in your state, which is pretty cool. And you can see the sun is kind of setting right now, and it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you again for joining us this evening. I am joined here by my colleague, Ryan, who I'll just let introduce himself really quickly as well.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Rothenberg. I'm one of our admissions specialists here in the office. I live in Boulder. I was actually a recent grad of CU. I graduated this past May with a degree in operations and information management from the Leeds School of Business here at CU. I'm so excited to share more about CU with you all this evening and can't wait to get started.
Awesome. So I just want to give you a few high level facts about CU Boulder before I really dive in. So we are located in Boulder, Colorado, with the Rocky Mountains kind of in our backyard. And really you get this beautiful daily view of the Flatiron. So it is a really, really cool place to go to school. We are a large public institution. So we do have around 34,500 students every year. And that's including grad and undergrad. And we do bring in about 7,000, depending on the year, 7,000 first year students every year. We are Division I athletics, part of the Pac-12 conference, and we do have about 52% Colorado residents every year, with the remaining percentage being from out of state. So out of state students represent all 50 states. So that's pretty cool that you would potentially be going to a school where there's every state represented. One other thing, I guess, before I dive in as well, is our Colorado Creed. So you can see listed here on this slide is the Colorado Creed, which was put together by CU Boulder students, essentially saying that anyone who is considering coming to CU Boulder as a student, as a visitor, should really adhere to the guidelines listed here. It's kind of a no nonsense policy, and really something that our students hold visitors as well as incoming students, prospective students to that standard. So just something cool to kind of see right out front, like what our values are and what we value. So one of my biggest goals of this presentation is really to get you to begin thinking and drawing connections between the things that you might be interested in, like hobbies and that sort of thing, and really turn them into potential academic majors and potential careers to pursue. So we want you to, start thinking about the things that you love and how those could really end up being an academic major. And we want you to know that studying at CU Boulder is a really great option. So here, learning often goes, beyond the classroom, right? So students can participate in experiential learning, cross-disciplinary study, a lot of different enrichment opportunities. You really get to create an experience that is special to you, and you can customize it, right? So combining majors, adding a minor. A great example of this is that student on the previous slide, Emily. She combined both dance and science, specifically actually an area of engineering, to pursue her interest in making the dance experience really come to life on stage. So she used circuitry and costumes to be able to do that. I also want to highlight our student to faculty ratio, which is an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which really starts to give you that, despite it being a large school, maybe a little bit of a small school feel in some of those courses you might take. We have first year seminars, collaborative workspaces, and really opportunities for you to work very closely with your peers. Hands-on research is another huge part of kind of what we offer as a school. It extends across all disciplines. And we truly have, a lot of opportunities there, right? So there's 90 research centers across campus, as well as 11 research institutes. So places where you can go do research as well. That has over 900, I believe, researchers that are students and staff. So that's a huge community to be part of. In terms of global experiences, I'm actually going to send it on over to Ryan to share his experience in global opportunities as a former student in the Lead School of Business.
Yeah, so there are so many opportunities, no matter what college, school, or program you're a part of, to really go global, get that real world experience outside of the classroom. For me, my freshman year, I was able to participate in something called a First Year Global Experience Program, or FGX for short. During this, it was a semester-long class, spring semester of my freshman year here at CU Boulder, where we learned about the travel and tourism industry of France. And then over spring break, we traveled to Paris for the week, and we met with numerous business leaders from all sorts of different industries, whether that was small little markets. We met with the leadership teams for the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, as well as numerous chateaus around the region. And it was just a great way to really take that education from the classroom and then apply it abroad to get more of that global perspective on things. And no matter whether you decide to major in business or something else, those opportunities are really out there for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. So continuing on to kind of customizing your education and that academic piece. So we have 8 different colleges and schools that you can choose from, exploring 110 plus different majors available, 50 minors to choose from. So these are something that you would add on to your degree. It's not something that you could have as your primary area of study. There's 40 opportunities for you to have a concurrent bachelor-master's experience, which basically is getting your master's in 5 years. So you would be graduating with both your bachelor and master's in that 5-year time period. And some programs do offer that, as well as certificates available. And certificates are a lot like minors. They're something that you can add on to your major to really make your experience kind of your own and customize your education to make it something that's unique to you. So now I'm going to take time to dive a little bit deeper into the different colleges. And before I kind of start, I do want to say that when you apply, you do apply directly into a school or program of choice. So I'll definitely talk more about the application process later on, but that is something to keep in mind as I'm talking about this. The first one is our biggest college on campus. So it is the College of Arts and Sciences, which is home to 50 majors. So you can choose from any of those 50, and they're going to range from areas in arts and humanities. So art history, cinema studies, Spanish theater, that sort of thing. Also, I'm really sorry. I have an 11-week-old puppy who's barking at me right now, so I apologize. But you've got, those different areas like arts and humanities. We also have the natural sciences found here as well. So that's like chemistry, geology, environmental science, some of those hard sciences, as well as social sciences. So political science, sociology, oftentimes psychology can be found here as well, but it may also fall under a natural science too, just because of the research component. So really this college also allows for that customization, right? So adding on 2 majors or maybe a number of different minors, just because of the way that the core curriculum is set up, it really allows for that type of experience. The College of Engineering and Applied Science is home to our engineering majors on campus. So ranging from majors like mechanical engineering to aerospace engineering, which is probably our most popular option. But the good news is you really don't need to know exactly what you want to study in terms of engineering. You really have time to explore and determine what major might be the best fit for you in the context of engineering. This is one of the top ranked engineering programs in the Mountain Time, largely because of its customizable and really hands-on approach, which gives you opportunity to take advantage of, that cutting edge research we talked about. You can join groups outside of your major, take on that minor to really become very well-rounded. I think that's a huge part of why it is such a great program. I'm gonna wait till the end to talk about the Lead School of Business. The School of Education, so this is home to our future teachers, students that are interested in teaching elementary education, secondary education, as well as obtaining a teacher licensure will find their home here. There's also a really, really cool leadership and community engagement major available as well. This school truly focuses on preparing students to be future educators, right? Really kind of taking a perspective on public policy as it relates to the community as well. So valuing diversity and justice and really integrating that into the curriculum and dynamic, which makes it a really, really cool program to be part of. It's very close-knit as well. Our College of Media, Communication, and Information is home to our students who are interested in journalism, media production, communication, information science, which is a really cool major found within there. Strategic communication as well as public relations are the majors that you can choose from. This offers adaptable courses, which basically is saying like the media is always changing, and how are we changing our curriculum and making it so that our students are getting relevant experience, right? So that's really what that means. Amazing networking opportunities as well. And then a lot of opportunities to gain experience, not only through coursework, but also internships and additional resources on campus, like a news broadcasting studio and that sort of thing. So you really get a lot of cool opportunities given to you there. The College of Music. So this is home to our music students who want to go on to a career in music. So keep in mind there is an additional audition process required as part of the admission process for this. For those students, this will be virtual this year, but aside from that, students can receive a Bachelor of Arts degree or a BFA. And most times these types of students who are studying music are going to go on to grad school after their initial experience. And then the program in environmental design. So this is home to students in who are interested in architecture, sustainable planning, landscape architecture, and environmental design. So these students will spend a lot of their time in the studio. There will be studio opportunities every single semester, in every single major. So that's really cool to be able to really be working on the things that you are eventually going to be doing in your profession. Those studio spaces only have between 12 to 16 students, so you do get to work closely with your peers as well as have access to a lot of really great resources. This is a great programs there are, but there is not for ours. So that is something where we hope to be able to provide access to students who may not have had the opportunity to study design in high school. And the last thing to keep in mind as well with this major and / program is that you will declare your major at the end of your sophomore year. So you do not have to know exactly what you want to major in, and you'll get a chance to sample all of them while you are a first year student. And then for Lead School Business, I'll go ahead and hand it off to Ryan.
Yeah, so the Lead School Business is where I graduated from this May. One of the really neat things, it's one of the oldest business schools in the country, as well as one of the top 20 ranked business schools in the United States. So it's a really great program. There's a lot of great opportunities for you there. Coming in as a first year student, you have the opportunity to really pursue 5 different areas of emphasis. These include marketing, management, there's also accounting, finance, and the newest one, which is real estate. So these are all different options for you to go down and really discover those first 2 years. Those first 2 years are all about learning just general business, seeing how things work, and then declaring that area of emphasis after your second year. The other really neat thing about the Lead School of Business is the mentoring program. There's 3 different levels to it. There's first the undergraduate mentoring program, where an incoming freshman is paired with a sophomore or is paired with a junior or senior level student for their first year. There's then the young alumni mentor program, where you're partnered with a young professional that's been in the field for 5 or less years, your sophomore year. And then junior and senior year, you're a part of the professional mentorship program, where you are paired up with someone who has 5+ years experience in a field that you're interested in. For me, my last 2 years here at CU, I was paired up with a senior executive with the Walt Disney Company. He worked in their IT operations team in Burbank. He really helped me to understand all the different facets of the Disney Company, what I might be interested in, and also helped me get an internship with Disney out in Orlando, Florida this past fall. So there's some great opportunities for networking, and here at Leeds, or whether it's through all the other colleges, schools, and programs, we have a number of different services through our career advising offices to help you figure out what you want to do in life and help you make the connections to get there.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your experience, Ryan. So the last kind of program or area in which you can apply to is the program in exploratory studies. So this is really our undecided option for students. If you are kind of applying to colleges and you're like, I don't know what I want to major in, this is exactly what you should choose. It gives you that first year to really explore what opportunities are available to you in terms of majors. Maybe kind of what you want to do, but you don't quite know how to get there. And really the advisors in this program, they're very intentional. They'll help you kind of figure out what that looks like for you and are a great resource. So that is just, the undecided option to keep in mind. So we just talked a lot about academics, right? Like went through every college, explained some of the things that you can take advantage of, but really half the fun of college is being able to find that healthy work-life balance and understand that while a good portion of your experience is in the classroom, about 50% is going to be outside. So we really want you to be able to find that balance and experience much more than just going to class every day or just going to your studio. So we really like to find ways to make kind of this large university feel a little bit smaller and help you really find your interests and find your friends and your niche in that way. So the first place where we really do that is going to be in your residential experience, right? So your first on-campus living. We do require students to live on campus in your freshman year, so that will be part of kind of that incoming experience. After your first year, you're able to live off campus. We don't really care either way, whether you decide to stay on for another year or live off, but in most cases, students are going to move off in their sophomore year. You have a lot of dorms to choose from in 3 different neighborhoods on campus. So really it's kind of up to you when you're choosing which one will be a good fit for you, and you will apply for housing when the time comes. And in addition to that, just keeping in mind that about 50% of our students are involved in a traditional resident experience. So that really is living in a dorm, you and a roommate, you kind of go through that experience in that dorm. The other 50% are going to be involved in residential academic programs and living learning communities. Ryan actually was part of them as a student on campus. So I'm going to pass it off to him to share his experience.
Yeah, so something that really sets CU apart from a lot of other schools is our residential academic programs, or RAPs, as they're called. They're a specific academic program that directly relates to your major that are housed inside one of the residence halls. So for my freshman year, I was a part of the Leeds Business RAP in China-Arapahoe Hall. During that time, we were able to meet with numerous business executives. We were able to start networking with folks. They brought in folks from our career development office to work on interview prep, resume critiquing, all sorts of things to really help us build our professional network from our very first year. Along with this, there's numerous other RAPs here on campus. If you're interested in engineering, we have the Global Engineering RAP. If you're looking at maybe doing engineering abroad, we also have engineering honors. We also have the Libby Arts RAP if you're interested in more performing or visual arts. There's the Baker RAP for folks that are really interested in outdoor living and Colorado history. So really, whatever you're interested in, there's a RAP program for you. So definitely something to look into. Some do require an application, some don't. But it's a really unique program here at CU that helps you really get the most out of your first year. Along with that, there's also living and learning communities. While not directly related to a major, these programs are another way for you to connect with like-minded individuals, help you make friends through common interests, things like that. It's another great program that we have here on campus to help you really make friends and meet folks from your very first days here in Boulder.
Awesome. So, clubs and organizations, are a great way to explore your passions, get involved on campus, and we certainly are a huge advocate of those types of opportunities. But even beyond that, like we always like to share this slide because I think it shows you how much you really can get involved in and opportunities you can take part of. A lot of these are at CU Boulder. A lot of them can also be part of your academic program too. But we really want you to be thinking about the things that get you excited. Like I said, are you driven by creativity? Is the art something that you're gonna want to take advantage of as an opportunity? Do you like asking questions? Do you want to be a researcher or take the opportunity to even try it out for the first time? Do you have the next great idea in terms of entrepreneurship? Do you value a natural environment? That's something where when you're looking at Colorado, specifically Boulder, it is a really, really cool place to explore kind of sustainability and that type of thing as well. And then also, community service and volunteer opportunities, they are not few and far between. You have so many opportunities to be engaged and get involved. So I, at this time really want to ask Ryan, will you share your experience as a student at CU Boulder kind of outside of the classroom? So what did you get involved in? What did you feel like really defined your experience as a student outside of, being a business student?
Absolutely. There's so many ways to get involved, and that's honestly one of the biggest cornerstones of your college experience. While it's really important to get that in-classroom learning, that typical lecture experience, things like that, so much more of what you're going to learn is applying that in the real world, whether it's through a job, an internship, something like that. During my time at CU, I was a student ambassador. I started that my very first semester here on campus. Those are our tour guides that give our campus tours most years, not happening right now, but hopefully soon. Along with that, I was also our on-campus programs intern for the admissions office. So I took that operations experience I was gaining in the classroom and applied it to putting together our on-campus programs, from our Explore CU Boulder programs to our Admitted Student Day, everything like that. I was able to apply my classroom knowledge in that real world setting. Along with that, you can also volunteer. There's so many volunteer opportunities, both here on campus as well as around the Denver Boulder area. For example, during my time, I volunteered at Denver International Airport as a customer service ambassador. So I worked in the concourses of the airport. I got to help passengers find their flights, baggage claim, everything like that. Another great way to get involved, find something you're passionate about. And it's a great way to get off campus, apply your learning somewhere else, and then bring that real world experience back with you to the classroom to engage in meaningful discussions and conversations. It's another great way to do that, but really Boulder is home to a little bit of everything. So no matter what your interests are, no matter what your passions might be, there's really something for everyone, which is a really great opportunity here when you come to CU Boulder.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to have a student experience as well, because I think that just adds so much value to all these slides. So talking a little bit about Boulder and really our campus in general. So you can see here, we kind of laid out a map for you of what is around, right? And so looking here, this is Boulder, this is campus. You see the flat irons right there. They're so beautiful. There is Eldora Mountain, which is our kind of like backyard ski area. So you can ski less than 30 minutes away. So that's just really nice, I think, if you want to go in and hop on and do that on a Saturday morning. We've also got some of those bigger ski slopes about 2 hours away. So some of those that people vacation hours and hours and hours away to take advantage of are pretty close to us. There's a bike path. If you're a biker, if you're interested in cycling, you can take advantage of that. Chautauqua Park is something that I find really, really cool. It is about 2 miles up from campus. And I say up because when I was there, I actually tried to run to it, and it is straight uphill. It is really hard. So really beautiful though. It's a space where you can get access to hiking. I believe you can even hike up to the Flatirons from there. So really, really cool to have that as an opportunity. The rec center at CU is beautiful. It is one of the coolest buildings on campus. There's an outdoor pool, an indoor pool. The machines actually heat the pool. It's a sustainable building, so it's really cool. Rock climbing wall, ice skating, indoor track, basketball, rooftop tennis, like amazing things and amazing views as well. Fair and Field is kind of like your front yard on campus for a lot of those first year students, where you'll have really the space and time to be able to interact with friends, interact with your peers, play Frisbee if you want, study, that sort of thing. And then if you really want some water, if you're coming from like Madison or Milwaukee and you're like, I need my lakes, we do have a Boulder Reservoir right there, but there's not quite as much water as there is in Wisconsin, I would say. But either way, it's a beautiful place, over 300 days of sunshine a year as well. So that is just one of the coolest things and coolest selling points. At this time in the presentation, I am actually going to transition to talk a little bit about the application process. As a reminder, we do have the opportunity for you all to ask questions, so feel free to take advantage of that. And I will just run through this right now. So applying to CU Boulder. We are part of the Common Application. So the first thing you're going to do is complete that application on the Common App. It is a really, really great tool to be able to apply to a number of different schools by just kind of submitting one application. So we love that for y'all, because you just have to do one and submit it. So Common Application, definitely encourage you to take advantage of utilizing all of the features and spaces that are on there. So filling out the activities list that's on there, that's a space where we're going to get to learn about the things that you do outside the classroom. It's a great space to be able to share those types of things. I always like to share this information as well. I think students often ask this in most cases. We will talk about test optional, but just keeping in mind that while we have these numbers up here, we are test optional for this year. But just looking at the admitted student averages from the previous year, they are listed here. Keeping in mind, this is our middle 50%, which means that we see students above and below that all the time. And additionally, there is this information available on the website too. It is on the application website for you to view. So the next thing you're going to do after you submit your application is submit all of the required documents as well as your application fee. So let's talk through the application checklist. First thing, application, right? Common App, submit. The next thing that you're going to submit to us is 2 essays. So the first one is going to be the Common Application essay. We do not care what prompt you choose. There are several to choose from that are available on both the Common App website and our application website. Really, we want you to take this space, this 250 to 650 words, and let us know a little bit more about you. We like to see you really reflect rather than recount an instance, right? So really kind of let us in, let us understand who you are, how you've grown, and how we can really see you as a student at CU Boulder. That's really what the essay is all about, is getting to understand you a little bit better. So there is the Common App essay. The second essay is going to be our CU Boulder essay. The prompt on there is basically saying, no 2 buffs are alike. What is your unique identity? What do you want us to know about you that would make you really a phenomenal person in our institution and as part of our campus community? So that is another essay that we do require. I believe that you can submit it at the time of submitting your application, but also you're going to have access to an application website, which will let you know if you've not submitted it, in which case you can then add it on. $50 application fee for students in the United States, and $70 for our international students. Official high school transcript. So we do ask that you submit your high school transcript to us. While this says official, it recently has been changed, and we are taking unofficial this year as well. So we do require you to send this to us. I'll talk a little bit about kind of what we use this for in a future slide, but we do ask that you send this to us, as well as any college transcripts for courses you may have taken. So if you took a class at a local community college or a UW school, definitely make sure that you send that to us so that we know that you took advantage of that opportunity. SAT and ACT scores are optional this year. So it was approved by the Colorado legislature that they would be optional for this incoming application pool. So for our 2021 students. So this basically means, you do not have to submit your ACT or SAT. It is not required. We don't even say it's recommended. It's basically like, if you want to submit this, you can do so. It will not be something that is used against you. And that is very, very important to hear me say that, when in doubt, don't feel like you have to submit it, but also keep in mind that if you do, it will only be used to strengthen your application. It's nothing that we will use against you in the process. We do require academic letter of recommendation. So this is going to be from a teacher who may know you really well and kind of can speak to your character, who you are in the classroom as well. So we do require only one, but you are able to submit more than one. I always encourage you to think quality over quantity. What that means really is do not submit 8. They will not all get read. So definitely be thinking about who you would ask to write that for you. And then lastly, you do have the opportunity to submit a resume if you choose to do so, but keep in mind that on the Common Application, you can also submit, or you will also complete your activities list on there, which is very similar to a resume. Our application deadline. So November 15th is our early action deadline. Most of our students will actually apply during November 15th. It is not binding, so you do not You are not required to come if you're admitted, but really it is an opportunity to get your answer or admission decision early. It's a great option. I definitely recommend students take advantage of this because the earlier it's done, the earlier you know, and then you can decide or at least know what the decision is. January 15th is the regular decision deadline. Very important to keep in mind that these are received by deadlines, meaning that it is not submit by, it is we need all of your documents received by these dates. Hear that again, it is received by deadline. So definitely keep in mind that November 15th doesn't always mean November 15th. Put it in your head that it's like 5 days earlier so that you have everything in on time. So holistic review, we do follow a holistic review throughout the application process. Our primary factors, however, are going to be academic factors. Really the main reason why is because we want you to be able to succeed as an academic student on our campus. We do not want to set anyone up for failure. So really what this means is that we are looking at your transcript very closely. So we're looking at the course load that you've had. So, how have you taken advantage of the courses at your high school? How are you taking advantage of the things that were offered to you? Did you take advantage of them? And then how did you do in those classes? So we're looking at the classes you took, the grades you received in those classes, as well as what was offered to you at your high school. So the transcript is something we really spend a lot of time looking at. We're also going to look at your grade trend, right? So like if you maybe had a bad semester, that's okay. We're really just looking for an upward trend if that's the case. Same can be said about your freshman year as well. Maybe you came into high school and it was just too much for you and didn't do as great as you wanted. Well, we're really looking for you to kind of continue to progress academically in that way. The same can be said as well about COVID-19, right? Like your last semester, your junior year or sophomore year, whatever grade y'all are on here, we understand that it was a crazy time and that's definitely something that we're taking into consideration as kind of an extenuating circumstance. But you are so much more than just your academics, right? And so with that said, we also are going to be looking at the things that you've done outside the classroom. So your volunteer and work experience, what are the things, what are the leadership positions you maybe took advantage of? And keeping in mind that leadership looks very different in many different ways. So we definitely understand that and are reading to really understand who you are and how, again, you would look on our campus. We also want to know your unique talents and backgrounds as well. So we really consider all of these things when we are reviewing your application and keeping in mind that not one thing is going to admit or deny you to CU Boulder. So now that you have submitted your application, you are now going to check your email for instructions on accessing the application status page. So that's the piece that I had mentioned earlier on. So this is something that, I highly recommend taking advantage of, looking out for that email, because it is going to be the place where you not only find your admission decision, but you also have access to understanding like what major you applied for, the term that you've chosen. You have access to the scholarship application website from there. It's just a really great resource for you. You're also going to want to understand cost as well as additional funding. So listed here is our non-resident estimated cost of attendance. I have non-resident listed here because I'm assuming most of you, or if not all of you, are from Wisconsin. But that is what we have listed here. If you choose to apply for financial aid, you will submit the FAFSA to the financial aid office. And I'll talk a little bit about that right now. So we do have a 4-year tuition guarantee, which means that at the time of you enrolling and being part of CU Boulder, your tuition will not change. So oftentimes universities will increase tuition or something like that. That's not the case for you when at the time you enroll. You kind of are locked into that tuition for 4 years. Important financial aid deadlines. So like I said, you will be submitting your FAFSA to the financial aid office. That opens October 1, so you can submit it as soon as October 1. That is that free application for federal student aid. We also have a Boulder, University of Colorado Boulder scholarship application as well. So that opens November 1st. You have the opportunity to apply for many different scholarships utilizing this one scholarship kind of like application. So it will let you know at the time of you submitting this application, it'll say, okay, you're eligible for these 5 scholarships because you are an out-of-state student who's studying engineering, right? Like that's kind of how it filters out in certain ways. Totally depends on the specific, major, where you're from, etc. But that is something that is really nice because it does, again, kind of filter for you. And then it'll let you know if those scholarships maybe require additional information. Maybe they need a resume or even an essay, that sort of thing. So just something to keep in mind, and something I'm totally happy to help with kind of as that time comes as well. Looking ahead at February, that's when that scholarship application is going to close. And then March 13th is kind of that final date where we're really looking to get all of that information in from you. So be successful. So now that I'm done kind of with that application process information, you know, the opportunities at CU Boulder really aren't just limited to your years on campus. They extend far beyond graduation. And something else that we always like to talk about is post-grad outcomes, right? So what are our students doing after they've done all of this academic work and all of this preparation? And so Ryan, again, is here, and I've asked if he can share some of his professional development experiences and maybe like resources that he took advantage of to help him start his career. Like what was it that you, again, took advantage of or really found helpful?
Absolutely. So CU is really here to get you to graduation, walking across the stage in May and setting you up for success, not just 1, 2, or 3 years after graduation, but for the rest of your life. And one of the ways they do that is through our career services office. Within the university, it's for every single student. They are able to go to the career services office as they want. And you can get help on anything ranging from resume critiquing to practice interviews. They can help set you up with mentors or help you find that volunteer program or internship you're interested in. That way that you're really walking out the door with your diploma having real world experience. You didn't just sit in the classroom for 4 years, but you sat in that classroom and then applied your knowledge to 3 internships and a volunteer program or an on-campus leadership position or job. There's so many different opportunities out there to really set you up for success. Even after you graduate, they're still there for you. Like, for example, before I started in this position, I worked with the Career Services Office to do some interview prep. It was after I graduated, and they were still there to help support you in any way. So it's a great resource we have here on campus to make sure that we get you ready to go so that you're a highly sought after and valuable candidate for no matter what job you decide to apply to.
Yeah, it's always a common question from parents is, you know, is my student going to get a job? And I always say, you know, as long as you take advantage of these opportunities, you are in a really, really good spot. So with that said, we bring you some statistics. So 92% of our CU Boulder graduates are really being employed or are in the military, that type of thing, within 6 months of graduation. So that's a great statistic. It's wonderful to see our students not only hopefully taking advantage of these professional development opportunities, but being successful in their jobs. And then the other statistic listed here are 70% of students who were admitted to their first choice graduate school. And that includes, you know, grad school, med school, that type of thing as well. And then here we bring you some starting salaries. So starting salary, the median starting salary is $55,000 for our first year students. And then it just grows a little bit more to that median salary after being in the workplace for a bit. And then this is a great slide that I'm also gonna have Ryan talk a little bit about as well. But you see our students, they go to great companies. And I think Ryan is a great person who can share his experience there. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
There are so many different opportunities for you after graduation, from the networking connections you make here at CU to the experiences you have here. There's so many ways to kind of get your foot in the door and start to meet people. For example, on this list, I worked for both the City and County of Denver as well as Disney during my time in my undergrad. For the City and County of Denver, I interned at Denver International Airport for 2 summers as their business technologies intern. A great experience to get some really real world professional experience in the IT world, which was something I was pursuing throughout my major. And then I also participated in the Disney College program. I was in monorail operations. I got to drive the monorail around Seven Seas Lagoon to the Magic Kingdom and back, as well as help our guests make a great vacation for them. It was a really great experience. And really what I hope that shows you is that you can try all sorts of different things when you're here at CU. Whether you're interested in going into working for the government or a for-profit private company, there's so many different opportunities out there, and don't constrain yourself just to this list you see here. Find something you're passionate about, something you're interested in, somewhere you see yourself working for the next 5, 10 years, and pursue it. We have resources here on campus to help make those things happen for you, help put you in touch with the right people to make those connections, and help set you up for success post-graduation, whether that's at one of these top companies or anything that you're passionate about around the world. We're here for you.
Awesome. So we are at about the end of the presentation. This is something we like to just push as well. Our social media, they do a phenomenal job at showing you campus. So that's this views from CU hashtag, but then also just kind of keeping you informed about changes or anything like that on campus. And then just like a last overview, my name again is Heather Moser, and I am the admission rep for Wisconsin. So I will be your admission rep for the year. Anything you need in terms of application process, questions, I'm so happy to help. Ryan was fantastic in being here today. I'm so grateful that you were able to do that. I know that he has offered up his email as well. So it's really easy to kind of just look at his name. It is Ryan.last name at colorado.edu, just like mine is. Ryan Nod, that's correct, right? Yes, okay. And so he certainly is available to you, but if you do have questions in regards to like your application, definitely reach out to me because I'll be the person who can help you more related to that. But he's great with student life and anything like that. At this time, we are able to do questions and answers. So far, we've only had one question come through, and that was basically asking, will you be holding in-person visits this fall? The short answer is, I don't know. The long answer is we will not be at this time. And I guess we don't really quite have a date of when we think that could be a possibility, but as of now, we will not be hosting. I don't know, Ryan, if you have anything else to add with that.
Yeah, we're waiting on guidance from campus leadership right now. So they've suspended visits until further notice. Our hope is to maybe start some stuff up around Thanksgiving once all of our students head home for the winter. But we just aren't really sure yet. We're kind of just waiting for guidance from our senior leadership teams regarding that. In the meantime, I would definitely recommend checking out our visit page online. It's colorado.edu/visit. We have over 100 different programs up there for things that are happening all throughout the fall semester, ranging from a general information session, kind of like what we did here, to more specific things about writing a college essay, how do I fit in on campus, finding my community. We have specific ones for parents and family members too about helping your student through the college search process. So there's a ton of different things that are going up. We're working with our colleges, schools, and programs as well to add in a number of different events along with that. So definitely keep an eye on that page. We're going to be adding new things every Monday. And then looking at the other two, I can answer the second question regarding a RAP for engineering. There are two different ones. There's global engineering RAP as well as engineering honors. For both of those, they do require a separate application. So something to just keep in mind, if you just Google search either of those, they'll pop up. Or if you go to living.colorado.edu, you can learn about all of the RAPs. And then Heather, I'm not sure about the percentage.
Yeah.
If you know anything about that.
I do not know exactly that number.
It's one of our larger schools. Arts and science is about 50%. And then I want to say engineering is second.
Yeah, I would say like CMCI, School of Ed, Program of Environmental Design, those are smaller, right? So those are going to be like, anywhere from like 2,000 students to like 500 students, like not quite as large, but business, engineering, and arts and sciences are going to be the bigger colleges on campus. So I don't know the exact percentage, but it is, again, one of the larger. So hopefully that answers. If not, I can definitely like reach out to you once I get that answered. But yeah, that's hopefully that provides more info. But
and also don't feel scared about it being a large school either. You'll always have the opportunity to really find your community there. And it might seem a little overwhelming your first week, but as you go through the semester, you'll make friends from your classes, the clubs you join, the RAPs you might be a part of, and your community will continue to get smaller to those really core group of friends. So it might feel overwhelming at first, but it definitely gets a lot better as you progress through the semester.
Yeah, and to even add a little bit to the overwhelming comment, we have a lot of different majors too, so that's something else to keep in mind about that. It seems like just because the questions have been about engineering, I'll just fill this in before we have to go here in a few moments, but aerospace engineering, applied math, architecture engineering, biomedical engineering, chemical, civil, computer science, electrical, computer engineering, physics, environmental, and mechanical as well. And then obviously an open option too. So yeah. And I think we are at the end. So I will go ahead and pass this over.
Well, thank you so much, everyone from CU Boulder. And for the attendees, there will be a quick survey when the window closes. If you could take a second to fill out the 4-question survey. And you can sign up for any of the remaining sessions through this week and all of next week by visiting wacac.com. And shortly after the program, the recordings of all of the sessions will be available at the website as well, too. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.